Mahadeo, journalist and community reporter, and I dedicate my time to searching for the stories that matter the most. Positive, uplifting, and inspiring stories that spotlight the challenges and obstacles we conquer to become the people who we are today. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of all the fairy tale lifestyles that people seem to be living on social media. Girl, you did not wake up like that. I'm interested in the genuine connections, the honest opinions, and the real uncut version of your true self. This show is about keeping it 100% real, deconstructing who we are and what we're all about. Join me as we sit down with individuals to discuss the personal struggles, the many challenges, and the moments that define us on this journey of self-discovery. Let's be real, life isn't fair and people make mistakes, but every opportunity is a learning experience. Let's discover the truth together right here on Real Talk. Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo, guys, and thank you again for joining us today again on my TCN TV network. So guys, if you haven't yet subscribed, then shame on you, because I've been saying that since literally the beginning of time, since I started this show. So go online, go on YouTube, and click the subscribe button for us, please. I appreciate the support. Before I start the show today, I would like to send a special shout out. Nisha, you can pull up the picture. Special shout out to my grandma. Guys, no, it's on this side. To my grandma. Guys, isn't she cute? Look at how cute my grandma is. It's not a recent photo of my grandma. This is actually an older photo, and I mentioned last week on the show that my grandma has Alzheimer's and dementia, and so she isn't very well right now, but today is her birthday. And today she has turned 82 years old. So shout out Grandma. Grandma's been doing the most for most of her life. She's raised 6 kids, first of all. Let me talk about that accomplishment, because that's the whole thing. A whole family, and she's lived a full life. But Grandma is here, Grandma's birthday, and Grandma's watching my show today. My mom is with her right now, and although she's not in the country, she still catches my show, and that is the kind of support that you need in your life. So, guys, before we get into anything else today, I would like to share a little bit about today's show. So today's show I'm doing, as you can see, by myself again, because one of the resolutions for the new year was to actually do more shows by myself, because I do have a lot to say. This is Real Talk. Real Talk was created because I'm the realest guy out here. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about things that, again, I'm very passionate about. I get very excited about things that I'm passionate about. And I like to talk about things that make me question the genuine character of people, and whether or not I want them occupying any part of my mental space. So, and that's also in line with living a better, happier life in 2019. So today we're talking, actually also have disclaimer, because, you gotta disclaim things. But the things that I say today here on today's show is information that I've gathered through research that I've done, and also my own opinion on the matter. And you are 100% inclined to agree or disagree with me, because you are accountable to yourself and your feelings. And I am not an expert by any means on public shaping, which is our topic for today. But I have seen and felt the effects, which is why I feel it's important to educate the viewers of Real Talk on that matter. So that is my disclaimer for the entire show today. And as you can see, if you've tuned in, the show today is called Shame on You. And I don't mean actual shame on you. But today we're talking about public shaming and all of the things. And also I also want to shout out my Ravenclaw t-shirt, because, I'm dropping knowledge and wisdom today on the show. So also I'm a big Harry Potter nerd. So if you didn't know that, shout out Harry Potter and all the things that it's taught me in my life. But I wanted to teach you today, and also in line with, getting more woke and learning things about the year. Today we're going to elaborate and discuss the various ways that people shame each other, and in order to deal with their own insecurities, because they like to be insufferable know-it-alls. And that's the tea for today. So, has you or anyone you know ever been shamed? And I say that because I know that you have. 100% someone has told you that the way that you are living your life is wrong. I don't know who these people are or who they think they are, and why they feel the need to express these things to you in ways that are malicious sometimes, and also, completely unsolicited and unwarranted. And this is my meme. I can't. I don't even know what side it's on. This is my meme for today. This is going to be the entire effect of the show. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you were an expert on my life and how I should deal with it. Please continue. Let me take notes. This is me like 95% of my life. So shaming can actually, I feel, be compared in some ways to racism. Let's, and I'll get more into that later. But I feel like it's kind of on the same level as racism. But again, shaming comes in various shapes and forms. Some people don't even know that they're doing it. And the truth is that a lot of us, people in general, we just don't know everything there is to know about all the things and how to do them. So we shouldn't act like we do. Because everyone else, that's the theme of the show, is that everyone is out here doing their best. All right? So scrolling through, and I talk about this all the time, but scrolling through social media, I see some comments that are just appalling. People have the audacity to, number one, share their unsolicited negative opinions, and number two, provide unsolicited advice or point out that that's not how to do something. Now I say, why are you sharing things that aren't contributing to people's lives positively? Why are you telling people how it is that they're doing this? And also, there are people who like to use this line to try and soften the blow, where they go, I love what you're doing and I want to support you, but, why is there a but? Why couldn't you message me privately and tell me what is wrong with what I've done? Why did you need to do it publicly and hate on my wall? Why? Why, guys? Why? So I have here a list that I've put together on why we shame other people. And again, a lot of it really stems from the comments that I see, not on my show, because who's hating on my show? Why are you hating on my show for, first of all? But the comments that I see on some of the YouTubers that I actually follow. So I've actually recently started watching James Charles. James Charles doing his makeup, doing his thing. James Charles is 18 years old. I didn't even realize that that's how young he was, because his maturity level is out here. And I'm just like, James, you do you, sister. Good job. But I was watching James's videos, and James actually does a lot of videos where he talks about the things that, the comments that people leave on his videos, and the things that they say to him. And he actually did a whole video on using people's negative comments and taking their unsolicited advice to do a makeup routine, because obviously he's not a makeup guru. He doesn't know what he's doing. So why do we shame other people? We shame other people because we feel that we have something to prove. We feel we need to be better at the things that we need to be better at doing all of the things that we see people doing, because life is a competition and we need to win. Also, we have our own insecurities, and pointing out someone else's problems makes us feel better about ourselves. And then we also enjoy spreading negativity to affect other people, because, our lives are just so great that we need to be talking about other people and what they're doing wrong and how they could do it better. First of all, nobody is perfect. No one. And I feel like, it is very unwarranted to feel that you need to be that person who is that voice of reason, as you like to say, and tell people what they're doing wrong, or how they are living their lives, or how they are raising their children, or how they choose to do their makeup, or what type of career choices they wanted to make, or relationship. Like, again, unless people are actually actively seeking you out to ask you these questions, or to ask your opinion and advice on something, why are you giving it? Have we ever considered these things? Or, is it just really easy? Or is it just really easy to do it because we don't have to see these people in person, and we can just comment on their walls and be all incognito, and just have, accounts that are just shady, and we're not even out here trying to, voice our own opinions. I also want to thank the people who left comments on my latest Instagram post, the one that I posted about last week. I did the show without any makeup on, and again, that was a big deal for me. And I really want to thank you for the love and support that I got on that. Again, there was no negative comments left on that post. And again, it wasn't an attention-seeking post. It was just something I wanted you guys to know because I feel like there are a lot of people out there who are struggling with the same thing. And I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you in a way that was open and honest. And again, the love that I received was so good. Thank you guys so much. And I also want to say, too, that I had nothing against makeup. Like you can see today, I'm wearing a full face of makeup. But I love makeup. Just don't like to wear it all the time. And that's just my life. So I wanted you guys to know that. So I'm actually going to save this, but in doing my own research, I found out that there are 4 distinct types of shame. So I want to share it with you, and I will get more into them. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to take a minute to, maybe gather a notebook, take some notes, because this is the show that you're going to want to take notes on. So we'll be right back.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hello everyone and welcome back. You're watching Real Talk and I'm your host Alyssa Mahadeo. Guys, thank you again for joining us today on the show. And also thank you for the support that, that goes out. Thank you to the people who support me and also people who give me constructive criticism. Shout out you guys. Because you've understood what it means to not shame a person and also give them constructive feedback so that they can make their lives better, because that's what it should be about. We should be helping each other, not hindering each other's growth or anything else like that. So today on the show, I'm actually talking about public shaming and how we do it and how people do it and how it affects people. And how people, again, think that they just know everything, so they want to, rule everyone's lives, and you don't. Everyone is out here trying their best, and that's the message that I want to get across at the end of the day. So, in doing my research, I found an article on The Independent, and this article covers the different types of shame. So, I didn't actually know that there was only 4 types of shame, but these actually make sense. So there's 4 distinct types of shame, and the first one is the shame of unrequited love. So if you've ever been a person who has loved someone and been rejected and realized that their love wasn't reciprocated, they know how shaming and humiliating that could be. Think about your first crush. Think about that guy that you liked or that girl that you liked, and you just never wanted to confess that you love that person because, you would have died of embarrassment if they said that they didn't love you, or they didn't like you, or that they didn't even want to be around you. And I think I felt this type of shame in so many aspects. Again, I can always remember that there were so many guys who I had crushes on in like elementary school and also in like middle school, and I was just like, I would never ever tell this person because I would literally die from embarrassment if they ever found out, or if they I knew that they didn't like me because half these guys were like dating other girls. Like, so I was like, they don't like me. I'm not even their type. You can see just based on the girls that they date. Also, I mean, I was judging myself and dealing with my own personal self-confidence issues. I mean, had I put myself out there, we don't know what could have happened. But, you know, that was a different time, different place, different Lissa. So, second type of shame that we feel is the shame of unwanted exposure. So I am this person. I feel this shame on a regular day-to-day basis. Um, if, for example, that if this unwanted exposure is when someone is, say you make a mistake in public, or I make mistakes on the show on the regular. The show is live. I can't really control that. And you are humiliated by someone walking in on you like naked, let's say. This is typically what many people think of you when you mention shame. So people feel like, oh my god, I'm ashamed of the way I look, or I'm ashamed of just like public shame in general. And this type of shame, it kind of, I think it occurs in different degrees. Where unwanted exposure is, for example, I could talk about doing this show and doing it live. A lot of the times I don't want to say certain things, or I don't want to even sometimes do this show because I'm like, oh no, what if I make a mistake? And then someone calls me out on it. Like, I didn't know that I made the mistake. You know what I mean? And again, it's a very hard pill to swallow when you think about, you know, okay, if I do make a mistake and someone calls me out on it, can I be okay with it? It's probably fine. You know what I mean? We were actually talking, I actually had a conversation with someone this week about anxiety and how they feel anxiety and how it affects them and how they realize they have like chronic anxiety, and that the only way they can treat it is if they like literally jump in 2 feet first and deal with it and just do it. And I was like, I mean, that sounds brave, but also at the same time it sounds terrifying. The type of shaming is disappointment and expectation. So think about when you set out to do something and you fail. This could be at work. Maybe like you didn't get a promotion that you were looking for, something that happened in your personal life, or a relationship that maybe didn't work out the way that you hoped, or a friendship that just didn't work out. So disappointment and expectation. Whenever someone is disappointed in you, you feel a sense of shame. You feel like you didn't live up to the expectation that that person placed on you, or even the expectation that you placed on yourself. That's a big deal as well. A lot of us feel that type of shame from like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that, and I've really let myself down. And that's where that feeling comes from. That is a feeling of shame. Very objectively, when you look at it in that way, we usually see these as learning experiences, these types of shames, because we realize that based on the feeling that we feel then, we don't want to feel that way again. So we're going to make sure that we do better in the future. And that is a form of self-growth. The fourth type of shame is exclusion, or being left out. So sometimes we just want to fit in. This is me. I can relate on a personal level. Sometimes we just want to fit in, and we want to feel like we belong. That's just how we live our lives. We are creatures of habit, and we are social creatures. And this happens in all walks of life, at work, in friendships, in romantic relationships. And we place a lot of value on being liked and not feeling like an outsider in various situations. So when something threatens that, we take it pretty hard. And I don't remember if I told this story, but I feel like there was a story of me making friends in elementary school where I really wanted to fit in, but I also wanted to fit in with a group of kids that were completely out of my league. And I was like, yeah, but they're cool. So if I join that group, obviously I'll be cool too. And that's where it was wrong, because that's not my personality. My personality did not jive well with that group of students for me to, easily be integrated into their social lives. So I would feel left out in a lot of situations. I was always like pick last in gym class because people were just like, I don't know who this girl is, and I think she's weird, and I don't want her on my team. And that was just me, thinking that about myself. But I always felt left out in that sense. Again, I'm fine now, but back then when you're little and you're growing up, being left out is a really bad shame. So that's why we always encourage our kids from a young age to be social, to make friends, to communicate with kids, because you have less shame when you're little. Like, you have no shame when you're little, to be honest, because you're still innocent. Nothing really affects you. Your parents have you outside, you're like butt naked, and you're like, yes, probably fine. So now I kind of want to get into why shaming doesn't work. So the wounds of shame can be very deep and enduring, and this is what I talk about when I say that shame really affects a person's self-confidence. We feel that sometimes if we write a comment on something, or we offer that unsolicited advice in like a positive, seemingly positive way, that it's not going to hurt somebody, but it hurts just the same because you pointed it out. So many people consider shaming an acceptable actually form of way of modifying behaviors. So instead of using like physical punishment where you would like yell licks, that's what happens. Sometimes people use shaming to express their disagreement with another person's choices or actions, and the feeling of shame depends on perceiving what others disapprove of you or your behavior. So a lot of people feel that, if I shame a person into not doing something, they won't do it. So I think we actually use this a lot when it comes to kids. We shame them to doing certain things, but it's not like a lasting shame where they feel it. It's only when they get a little bit older, and then they have that realization that, oh no, if I do this it's wrong, or I'm going to get in trouble, or they feel that shame of, again, getting in trouble or being disciplined, so they don't do certain things. And it's different from guilt, which is based upon your own view of an action, instead of being harmful to someone else. So that's the difference between guilt and using shame as punishment. So then we have to ask the question, does shame change or deter types of behavior? And again, this goes back to disciplining children. There are some cases when shame diminishes behavior, but it also begs the question to ask, at what price? So shame can actually become internalized, and I'm sure a lot of us internalize our shame, which is why we deal with self-confidence issues, and self-esteem issues as well, right? So if a shamed person begins to view himself in ways consistent with disapproval, the individual becomes both the judged, and the judged experiences self-criticism and feelings of inadequacy. So this is exactly what I just said. You just feel all kinds of ways about doing the things that we do. And then this stems from like us not putting ourselves out there when we should. A lot of introverts feel this way because we're just like, nah, I'm comfortable here, so why would I go out there and do those things? Because, those people are doing it well. I'm not going to interrupt or impede on that. But a lot of us, as we get older and as we learn and we grow and we develop, we realize that there's some point in our lives where we have to confront those feelings. And when we do, everyone does it at a different time. Everyone does it whenever they're most comfortable, or if as a way to push yourself further outside of your comfort zone. This is my whole life. So when shame becomes internalized, it becomes pervasive and enduring, and a person can be at risk for developing unhealthy conditions such as depression or social anxiety, fear of being scrutinized, avoidance of social events, or anything that makes them scared to do. So depression and social anxiety are amongst the most prevalent psychological disorders and are associated with higher risk of developing additional psychological problems. So again, I am not a psychologist. I am not an expert in the field, but I can relate to this personally and feeling these things. And I'm sure a lot of you can as well. Where when you feel that shame, that all of a sudden you're like, nah, I should just crawl up in a hole and just die, because I'm not trying to confront the world anymore. Everyone's kind of pointing out all the things that I did wrong, or people are disappointed in me, or I'm not reaching that point where, I'm being accepted by everything and I'm doing everything right because people keep telling me what I'm doing wrong. And again, very, very hurtful. So that's honestly really why shaming doesn't work. So I do want to get into a little bit more of story time, because I love story time. Everyone loves story time. I want to get into story time in the next segment, and maybe share some stories that I found either online or my own stories of instances where people have been shamed, and just the outcomes of those and how those people have dealt with it and coped with it, and how it's affected their day-to-day lives. So their day-to-day lives. So we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll be right back. You're watching Real Talk.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. You're watching Real Talk, guys, and today we're having an awesome conversation. Today we're talking about shame. Shame, shame, shame. So today we're talking about what it means to publicly shame someone, either in person or online, which is very prevalent because, again, no one can see you, and you can talk all the smack about people, which is not okay. So today I actually wanted to talk a little bit about that, how it's affected people I know, how it's affected myself, and also the fact that some people don't even realize that they're doing it. I think that a lot of the time shame comes from the people who we love most, or people who want to see the best for us. So sometimes it's a lot of friends and family that we get shamed by. And I don't think they realize that they're doing it because it's coming from a really good place in their hearts. You know, they just want to see the best for you. But they don't also realize how it affects you personally. And then there are also those people who just do it maliciously without realizing that, you know, you're coming off really aggressively, so you need to chill. So there's nothing worse than feeling like you did a good job and then having someone shatter your dreams, literally. And I've had this happen to me so many times, but one time that actually stands out the most to me was, I've told you guys before, I used to do a lot of pageants. I used to do a lot of competitions, modeling, and again, it was a different time of my life. It was a very superficial time of my life. I really, now that I think about it, I really shouldn't have been doing pageants or modeling, because the self-esteem issues that I already had just were made worse by having everything that was wrong with my body pointed out. Another version of shaming. There was one time where I was skinny shamed. I was younger. I think I was 18 or 19 at the time, and I was recruited to be in a fashion show. Lots of designers and stuff came from India, and they came to put on the I think it was the, I don't want to say the name of the show, but there was a show that came on, and we were modeling Indian clothes, so Indian lehengas and suits and things like that. So there were a lot of Indian designers that came from India, and they brought their whole collection, and they had to choose models to model the different looks. And I remember I was standing in a lineup of like a whole bunch of girls, and again, no meat on my bones. I was really, really skinny child. Like I had a really fast metabolism, and I just didn't put on weight that quickly. Again, because everyone's body is different, and that's just how things go. So I always was taught that, not even taught, I'd always seen that models in the industry were always really skinny. So I thought, well, I guess that's the norm. I can obviously model because I'm skinny. And I wasn't picked for a lot of segments when the designers did come, and they were choosing the different girls to model outfits. So this one particular designer, he looked at me, and he looked at the girl next to me, and he picked her. And I was like, okay, I mean, she was shapely. She looked a lot more mature than I did. I feel like I probably looked like I was 12. And she looked maybe that she was 25. And I'm pretty sure we were the same age, to be honest. It's just my body type was a lot different. And he looked at me and told me I was too skinny, and that I wouldn't fill out his clothes properly. And I was like, it's never occurred to me that I'm too skinny. But this designer told me that I was too skinny and that I wouldn't look right in his clothes. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, when I was in modeling, training classes, they told us that models are mannequins, essentially, to model the clothes that it is that designers or anybody has. And I was just like, I thought that I was, pretty standard mannequin size, maybe, lacking in a couple places, but still, relatively okay. And it stuck with me. It really stuck with me, the fact that this guy told me that I was too skinny. Because then I spent the rest of, like, those years trying to gain weight. And I was like, well, why am I trying to gain weight? Like, I don't feel that I need to prove anything to him. And it was coming from a place of insecurity because this man had told me I was too skinny, but I also wanted to be successful in doing what I was doing. And I realized that in order to do that, I would have had to gain more weight. Long story short, I didn't end up gaining more weight until, like, years later. And also, bun that guy, because I didn't honestly care for his opinion after that. I realized that the industry just wasn't working for me, and this is not a place that I wanted to be, where I was going to be judged and scrutinized for every part of my body. Another story was one time when I was actually shamed for how I did my makeup. So, this is a fun story as well. People look at me now and they're just like, how could someone shame you for doing your makeup? And they're like, I've never been professionally trained to do my makeup. I've learned to do my makeup based on YouTube tutorials and practice and experimenting with makeup, because how else do you learn? And when I was in pageants, again, this is another pageant story, but when I was in pageants, there was one aspect of the competition where we actually had to do our own makeup. So I was wearing a navy blue dress, so I'm looking for a look that is going to complement this navy blue dress. Now, I've never been taught, like, the fundamentals of makeup and how to do it, but I feel like I do a pretty good job. And I was like, I thought I did a really good job. My eye look was like a navy blue smoky eye, and, like, my blush was not very prominent on my skin, but I had, like, pink blush. I did, like, a bold red lip, and I thought it looked really good. Again, I realized, you have to dress the nines. This is a competition, so you gotta look excellent. And then when I went over to our coordinator, who was actually approving everyone's final look, she looked at me and she was like, no, that's ugly. You need to take that off right now. And I was like, I'm sorry. I thought I did a pretty decent job. Now, because I like to make sure that everything is, like, neatly applied at least. She didn't even give me points for that. She was just like, no, it's ugly. She's like, why are you wearing red lipstick? I was like, because I thought red lipstick was, suitable to an evening look. And she's like, you can't wear red lipstick with blue eyeshadow. And I was like, okay, color police. So, and, this girl, like, actually pulled out a color wheel to show me the colors that complement one another and the ones that aren't supposed to go together and this, that, next. And I was like, I had so many questions. And I remember I cried, first of all, because, again, she shut me down so hard. And I had to now go and redo my makeup. And I didn't redo all of it. I just changed my lip because, like, all you had to do was, tell me that lipstick does not complement the eye look that you've done. Maybe you should consider doing a nude lip or a pink lip or something that would better complement the blue. That's all you had to tell me. You have to, like, tell me it was ugly, because that was rude. And yeah, so she made me feel like the worst person ever, and, like, I honestly felt like I was trash and I could never do makeup again. I was like, who are you? Who do you think you are doing makeup? And, I feel like we've learned that there are really no rules when it comes to makeup. There are none. Makeup is literally an art project to you. So do what you want. Live your life. Do your makeup. Again, let's make a reference back to Sister James Charles. Like, he is living his life. Some of the looks that he's done are amazing. And he's the first to admit that, again, he's not the greatest doing makeup either. But, he does what he wants to do. And whatever looks good at the time to him is great. Live your life. Do your makeup however you want. So this is not my story, but there are a lot of stories when it comes to celebrities and celebrity shaming. People love to shame celebrities. And I do want to get into some of those stories, but I know that we're running out of time, so I'm going to take a quick break. But I think one of the best things that come out of, and this is not a good thing, but I think one of the best things that comes out of people who get publicly shamed is the clapback. The clapback. That's where we're going with Chrissy Teigen and her clapbacks. And I definitely want to share some of those because I love Chrissy Teigen. crazy. Shout out you, girl. You know, you're doing all the things, and also telling people, be like, listen, you need to stop telling me how to live my life. But again, there's so many different types of shaming out there. There is mom shaming, there is career shaming, there is gender shaming, there is weight shaming, there is emotional shaming, there is slut shaming, there is age shaming, and then there is even just racism in general, which also kind of, is integrated into shaming because people will shame people based on stereotypes of their background or their culture, which is so rude. So rude. Like, you don't know me. You don't know how I grew up or the things that I've done or the things that make me happy even. So, who are you to really tell me how to live my life? Again, we're going to get so much more into this in the next segment. I'm so excited to share all the things about people and how it is that they shame people and how much it's just, stop being a life ruiner, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. So we're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back. You're watching Real Talk.
Welcome to Shadow Auto.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk, and I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo, guys. Thank you again for joining me on this awesome show today. Thank you for the love and thank you for the support on my show about shaming today, because it is a topic that I am very passionate about, because I dislike people and it makes me upset when they are, taking advantage of that certain type of power where you're allowed to just, have that freedom of speech and say whatever you want, but there is a limit to that, and I think we need to exercise that limit more often than not. So today on the show, I am actually sharing some stories of, my own personal shaming experiences, but I also want to make reference to some experiences that celebrities deal with on a day-to-day basis, which is unfortunate. And, I'm not coming here to defend all the things that celebrities do, but I am coming to defend them in the sense that just because they are public figures and because, they put their whole lives out there and they're out there all the time doing things or sharing their lives, and some of them choose to share more of their lives than others. And I feel they're very brave for that, because, again, just because you're in the public eye doesn't mean you need to be sharing things. Let's talk about Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling, for example. They had a whole kid and no one knew about it. Okay, like, one day they were together and then the next day they had a kid and, like, no one knew about it, because you know what? She was like, I don't need to deal with these people telling me about how I don't deserve Ryan Gosling, or how I shouldn't have had a kid, or I'm too old to have a kid, or what happens to your career, Eva. And I think that is so rude and so great that Eva decided that she was going to totally be off the radar when she came to start dating Ryan Gosling. So, again, good for you, Eva. Live your life. My favorite celebrity to talk about when it comes to public shaming and how they deal with it is Chrissy Teigen. My girl Chrissy is out here doing the most when it comes. And Chrissy has been shamed so much throughout the course of her career. And most recently she's been mom shamed a lot in the last like years since she's had her first kid Luna. And then she had Miles. I don't know why people come for Chrissy because it's not good. Like, she comes back with a vengeance, and also her tweets are fire. Like, fire. Okay? Chrissy comes, and people shame her about when it comes to breastfeeding. People shame her from what it's like to be pregnant. People have fat shamed a woman, and she is pregnant. And I've told her how she's looking chunky. I'm like, excuse you. Have you ever been pregnant to know what it's like when I'm pregnant? Like, that doesn't even make sense. People have... I don't understand why people mom shame other men. And it's usually moms who mom shame other moms, which is the worst. Because first of all, everyone, again, think about the task to make a whole child. That's 9 months of your life. That's 1,000,001 changes to your body. That's 20,000 insecurities. That's everyone telling you how it could go without them understanding that you have your own experience, and pregnancy is not the same for everyone. And I have never been pregnant, so I cannot speak to the experience. You know, I don't know if it'll ever happen, and I can't predict the future, but I'm just saying, why are y'all out here shaming other moms? Again, please tell me more. Who are you people? So, someone shamed Chrissy. Chrissy gave birth to, I forget if it was Luna or Miles, one of her children. And she went out for dinner with her husband, maybe like 2 weeks after she had the kid. And people shamed her for going out to dinner with her husband 2 weeks after having a kid. And I'm like, first of all, are you Chrissy Teigen? That you can go out 2 weeks after giving birth to a whole child? Are you just mad because you're not Chrissy Teigen and that you can't go out 2 weeks after having a whole child? Chrissy is allowed to live her life the way that she wants. She's allowed to feed her children the way that she sees fit. She's allowed to, like, clothe her children the way she sees fit. And she's allowed to do whatever she wants because she's Chrissy Teigen, guys. There are a lot of other celebrities that get shamed the same way. And it maybe not for the same things, but just because they're out here. People are always out here minding their own business and living their own lives, and people just come for them. You're like, was I doing something to you? Ariana Grande is one of them. Nicki Minaj is another one. Kendall Jenner, I seen this article the other day. Kendall Jenner was shamed for her acne. So someone took a picture, and the picture, like, they zoomed into like 10 times the, like 100, like 1,000,000 times the amount into her skin, like literally into her pores, to see the acne that she had on her cheek. And I was like, rude. First of all, I know that the acne is there. I've covered it up with like 10 million pounds of concealer and makeup. Why are you zooming into my face to tell me about the acne that I have? Of course I have acne. I am human. I have blood running through my veins, and I've got hormones to deal with. So, yeah, I've got acne. And I thought it was so rude that people did that to her. And also, again, just the way that she clapped back. Good for you, Kendall. You know, just telling people, be like, listen, I have acne. That's just my life. One of my favorite tweets, or again, we can go through all the tweets, but I shouldn't. All the tweets from Chrissy, you can find them on her Twitter. I'm pretty sure they're still there, or they're in various articles online. But there was one that I specifically found where someone shamed her for having a round face and having long hair. And I was like, rude, again. This is why people deal with insecurities. This is why people deal with so many. You're like, oh, my face is round, I shouldn't have long hair. Like, rude, again. Is that any of her business? So they shamed her for having long hair and having a round face, and they said, this is the quote, and I quote, "You look beautiful, but you should grow your hair long again. Girls with round faces should not have short hair like that. It makes your face look huge. Been there, believe me. Long hair. Thumbs emoji." No. No, sir. You will not tell me the length in which I should wear my hair based on my face shape. You will not. Also, in line with mom shaming, why does no one dad shame? Do you not think that he contributed to any part of that? That, you know, you shouldn't shame him for how the way he decides he's going to raise his children? No. Rude. I think that, again, celebrities deal with the most when it comes to shaming, and I think it's, again, so rude that they have to deal with things surrounding relationship drama. There's a lot of slut shaming and just, the men that people have been with and this, that, and the next. And I'm like, again, rude. Pregnancy rumors are the worst because, you gain a little weight. Are you pregnant? No, stop asking me that. Like, you've gained a little weight. I see that you've gained a little weight. I'm going to speculate now online if you're pregnant. This actually happened with Meghan Markle. And, and she was also pregnant. But why do you need to make it a whole thing? Why does it have to become entertainment live news? Like, why? We can speculate, but do it quietly. Just do it quietly, guys. Again, people shaming people for their parenting choices, whether or not they choose to vaccinate their children and not vaccinate. Again, that is your choice. It's your children. However they grow up, however you choose to raise them to be, that's, again, your choice. You should never say something, especially, number one, if you don't have children. Number two, if you have children and you are raising them and you know the struggle that it takes to raise children, like, just don't talk to other people about the way that they raise their children. Don't do it. And then just women and their competition. Again, why are we running so much competition with each other? We're here to support and lift each other up, not be so rude about these things. And then just the feuds and the dramas that go down from this. Again, I am a person who does not like to deal with drama. I don't like any aspect of it. I don't want to deal with it. So when you come at me with your drama, I'm out here like, nah, don't have time. Sorry. Exactly. So I think what I'm trying to say, because we gotta wrap up. I can't believe we already have to wrap up this conversation. But in order to wrap up this conversation, I think what I'm trying to get at really is that we need to stop this culture of shaming that we've developed in the world today, because it is, again, so rude and it is not a positive contribution to society. It's not helping people deal with their mental health issues that they might be battling with. It's not helping people deal with their busy lifestyles and schedules in a constructive manner. It's not helping your own personal growth or development as a person contributing to society. So why are you adding more negativity to the world? Why is your opinion superior over the opinions of others? Why do you feel the need to prove a point by being right when your actions are just hurting more people than they're helping? Again, negativity. Ain't nobody got time for that. Please people choose to do things based on what best suits their needs and their priorities or their preferences. Again, this happens with moms, this happens with women who choose not to choose a career over kids. Like, again, that's a whole other conversation that we could have. But some people, careers mean more to them when they're, listen, I wasn't made for motherhood, so that's just not going to happen for me. Stop asking me when I'm going to have a kid. I saw another video the other day, again, another YouTuber, she's Indian, and people keep asking her, and I say Indian because you guys know why. She has been asked, she's been married to her husband for like almost 9-10 years now, and people keep asking her when she's going to have kids. And then she recently released a video on how she's struggling with her pregnancy because of body issues and things that she's just got going on in herself, and and people have shamed Chrissy Teigen for IVF. Like, again, the way that people choose to have children is not your business. If people choose to adopt, if people choose to have IVF, if people can't have children and just don't want to talk about it, why is it your business? And why do you need to point out that, you're getting older, your biological clock is ticking. Maybe that you should make more children. No, maybe I'll choose when I want to have children, or I will bring the children to you and you could raise them. So what I'm saying is people will choose to live their lives the way that they choose, and it's their business and not yours. Unless you're paying their bills, unless you are raising their children for them, or literally living in their skin, you have no say over their lives. So at the end of the day, it is extremely important that everyone is trying their best, everyone is doing their best, and everyone is working towards what works best for them. So I think that with the end of this show, we need to just eradicate this whole culture of public shaming. We need to stop talking smack about people. And I want you guys to come for me. Just, anyone who finds this, who doesn't support what it is I'm doing or what I'm saying, just come. See what happens. See if I even care. Again, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were an expert on my life and how I should live it. Please continue while I take notes. because I will be taking all of the notes, and I will be spilling it all over the next episode of Real Talk. So guys, thank you again for joining me on another edition of Real Talk. I do appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this show. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. And I will see you again next week. You've been watching Real Talk and have been keeping it so real today, guys. And I will see you again. Hashtag Ravenclaw represent. See you guys later.